and children of all ages, announcing for the first time. Are we ready, Alvin? Okay. Turn off the music. Can we turn off the music? Okay, any minute now. Hey, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out on this winter night. I want to explain, first of all, why I'm doing this. You might be wondering why I'm doing this. So am I. I'm going to cheat a little bit. This isn't really, my part really isn't exactly stand-up. It's a little more like a moth story, you know. And I'm going to take about 10 minutes and tell you why I invited you all here. And then you'll get to some supposedly excellently really funny folks. But so I'm going to start by telling you about when I was 7 years old and my mother took me to my first psychologist, who was a supposedly famous woman as it goes. Eleanor Galenson was her name. And she tested me because I was already not the average boy. And she told my mother I was batshit crazy, that I was psychotic and I was going to be an axe murderer. And she didn't really, that upset her a little bit. So she took me to meet Dr. Stein. And Dr. Stein was my first psychiatrist when I was 7 years old. And I lived in Stuyvesant Town on First Avenue and 14th Street. And Dr. Stein had an office on 61st Street and First Avenue. And my mother taught me to take the bus by myself to see Dr. Stein when I was 7 years old. And much more importantly than Dr. Stein was the guy on the bus, the same bus driver every week at the same time, who took me to Dr. Stein. Dr. Stein was a tall, handsome, gentle, sweet guy who smoked a pipe. And he was really nice to me, you know, and I thought, I'm not trusting this guy. I'm not telling him anything, but I just played games with him and he was nice. And after a while, he told my mother that I was actually kind of well related and well adjusted. And maybe she should just get me my own room. And then I wouldn't wake my brothers up anymore. So Dr. Stein was kind of, I don't know, sexy really, and very suave. And I really liked him. And he kind of got stuck in my mind about something that somebody might want to do. And so, you know, now I'm trolling along in life. And then I start seeing psychiatrists in the movies. And I see Captain Newman, MD. And it's Gregory Peck is the psychiatrist. And I know Gregory Peck. He looks like Dr. Stein. He's got a pipe, you know, and he's Atticus Finch, you know, if you remember that. But this is a great movie with Tony Curtis and Larry Storch. And he's a really great guy. And again, admirable. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to grow up and control myself. And now I got Gregory Peck and Dr. Stein, you know. And then we remember Ordinary People. You know, that's Mary Tyler Moore and Timothy Hutton, and Judd Hirsch is the psychiatrist then. And boy, he's a smart guy. He's a cool guy. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. So I went to school and I started studying the mind and the brain. I studied psychology, but I started to feel like it wasn't doing anything. Like they talked forever and it didn't work and the medicines were nonsense. I didn't believe in it. You know, I studied psychology. I thought I'm going to go to medical school, but I didn't really think psychiatry could be anything. And then I didn't get into medical school the first time. And I stopped thinking about psychiatry at all. All I wanted to do was get into medical school. And then I did. And I still didn't think that I was going to be a psychiatrist, even though I knew much more psychology than anybody else. I was a psychology major at a Ivy League university, and nobody else cared about psychology at all, pretty much there. But, and then my roommate in medical school killed himself. And I saw that he was sick, really sick, and it wasn't bullshit. And that he didn't have to die. And then it seemed like a worthwhile job, maybe. That maybe somebody should have saved him because he could have been saved. And that's another story. But that's how I became a psychiatrist, is because Larry died. And I decided it was a worthwhile thing. And then I heard about Don Juan, Don Juan the shaman. Don Juan. And I fess up right now, never read those goddamn books. But I damn well knew what a shaman was, and I wanted to be one. I wanted to do spells and potions. I wanted to do the mind and the brain. It seemed like a worthwhile thing to do. And it was actually a good thing to do when I started to do it. Because it's a beautiful time, because our potions got so much better. And we learned about the spells. Now we know about how meditation and hypnosis, how it changes your brain. We know that now. So we know about mindfulness and medication. And so it was a good time. And I did become a shaman. And the thing about a shaman is it's three things. It's potions, and it's spells, and it's staying in the same place. Now that's a real good thing. But the thing that's changed is that the world around me changed. And I look out my window and there's no one behind me. And I look out my window and I see that the government and the hospitals and the medical schools and the insurance companies, they didn't know it, but they were killing off the shamans. They were making it so no one would ever want to be one. They made a job that no one can do and no one would take. And it's lonely up here. And now my job is different, because I can't just see all the patients. There's too many. I can't, there's not enough, and there's no one behind me. And now I learned something. You see, there was a profession being born, the profession of how to do therapy and give medicine, how to do the mind and the brain, the spells and the potions, the mindfulness and the medication, the neurophysiology and the neuropharmacology, to do them both. But no one's learning it. There is not one medical student in America who wants to be an outpatient psychiatrist. Psychiatry is becoming a thing of hospitals, not of communities. There will be no shamans when I am gone. And I look out my window and I see that all the sickest people are in jail instead of hospitals. And I see that the people who take drugs and alcohol in our society, that they are treated by non-professionals who are 10% successful, that we only train 20 addictionologists in this country every year. I see, and where are the shamans for the people in the jails? Where are the shamans for the people using drugs? Where are the shamans for the soldiers with the traumatic brain injuries and the post-traumatic stress disorder? Where are the shamans for all of you? The people I've taken care of, the people with ADD and bipolar and Asperger's and social phobia and winter blues that need a man who gives you the spells and the potions. So now I know it's not enough. I have to do more. And that's why I'm here, because I have to do this. Because it's not enough to just treat you anymore. Now I have to teach you. And now I have to reach over your heads and I have to perform. And I've got to bring you in, because we need community. There's 45 million people with ADD in the United States, and I am the only book I've ever seen about ADD and depression. There are 75 million Americans with depression. There's 45 million people. If every one of them decided that they wanted to change the way we trained mental health professionals, our country decided that we weren't going to take care of ourselves, that Americans should not be shamans, and we're not going to have any. And why did we do that? And we didn't do it on purpose. We didn't know we were doing it. It snuck up on us. And if we want to take it back, we're going to have to do it together. We're going to have to get every person who has an Asperger's person in their family, or an ADD person, or a bipolar person, or a person with seasonal affective or social phobia, all of these people who need someone to talk to and to treat them, the spells and the potions, and someone who'll stay in one place. So I can't do this by myself. And I need you to do it with me. And that's why I'm doing this. Because I want to bring a sense of community to the people like me. And I want to build a movement, really. Maybe it should be the American shaman movement. Maybe it should be the prescriber therapist movement. But this is the beginning of it. Me willing to do something uncomfortable and slightly unpleasant, because I really feel it's what now I must do. It's not enough anymore. I have to make more of me, or try. So, I'm doing this because I started out wanting to be Don Juan, and I wound up being Don Quixote. So thanks very much, everybody. We're going to try to amuse you a little bit, I'd like to turn this over to my friend Chris. Maybe I'll be back up a little bit. We got some funny folks for you to listen to. And, we're going to put this on YouTube. And when we do, share it, please. Share it with all the hyperactive people you know, because that's who you know. We all know each other. We like each other. We're better for each other. Let's come on together and make them treat us right. Let's make them make the professionals that we need. Okay? Thanks again. Here's my man, Chris.
One more time for the good doctor, everybody. Keep it going. All right. Now it's time for dick jokes. How's it going, everybody? Hey, can we get a round of applause, please, for the bar staff for taking care of you guys tonight? Bree and James, I think. I forgot his name. Make sure you guys are tipping them well and you're taking care of them. How's everyone doing? You guys all right? Nice house? You guys all right? Make eye contact with me.